Welcome to the Functional Sportsaholic YouTube edition, where we break out clips of our general interest sports show. This week we are talking about a number of things, but this clip underscores the inequity of college football, Power 5 versus non-Power 5 schools. I personally do not have a problem with it. What bugs me is that the NCAA pretends that this issue doesn't exist. So, look, I think Power 5 schools should be in the championship game. I have no problem with it, but as an alum of UCF, I just think it's a little hypocritical, and really I think the NCAA is treating us like we're idiots when they don't acknowledge the fact that Power 5 schools have the in on the championship weekend. Again, no problem with it. I'm not a UCF homer. I'm just saying, look, it's an issue. It's out there. Give us a listen. Give us a subscribe, like, comment. We'll be interactive with this thing. So let's play the clip. But let me just start with this. So I was looking on bovadasportsbook.com today, and it's that time of year, Sam. You know, I'm starting to see articles about, Oregon, Auburn, all these Power 5 schools. It's the time of year now where all the Power 5 schools move up in the rankings and all the non-Power 5 schools move down in the rankings, even though UCF, the darling, the non-Power 5 darling, won 64-0 in their first game. They drop a spot in the polls this week. And for some reason, it's not a conspiracy against the non-Power 5 schools. And as I say every time we talk about this subject, Sam, I have no problem with college football saying that the Power 5 schools are on a different level than non-Power 5 schools. Unlike everybody else who thinks, that these non-Power 5 schools should play in the championship, I'm not making that argument. As I always say, I just think it's complete crap when the NCAA says that non-Power 5 schools have a chance, and they don't. They just don't. It's reality. We've seen it. There's nothing a non-Power 5 school can do at this point. Everybody says schedule better teams, but you have to schedule these things years out, and you never know who's going to be up there. Alabama and Clemson, they're not coming into UCF, and they're not taking UCF on their schedule early in the season. It's not going to happen. So who does UCF try to schedule? Georgia? Georgia's not going to take them. LSU's not going to take them. It's just reality of the situation. So the NCAA, as always, is full of crap. I have no problem with them being, having favoritism towards Power 5 schools, but saying that they don't is really it just drives me crazy every time.
And that's why they should expand the playoff thing and let the teams fight it out at the end, But you're right; they are going to continue to favor these other schools. I mean, I don't know how you beat a team, like completely demolish a team and drop a spot.
Drop a spot.
It doesn't. Yeah, and they have a whole new quarterback. They have a whole new,
Yep.
And it's like, oh well, you know what? We're just going to drop them back. And I was at that game. They played two quarterbacks. It was not close at all. Any point in the game. I don't think it was almost till the third quarter that they even got FAMU got a first down. And I don't know if that's UCF just looking really good or FAMU being that bad. It might be a combination of both.
Probably.
But 64-0 in a Division I, college football game is still impressive. So.
Yeah, there are plenty of Power 5 schools that play powder puffs in the first week too. So, give me a break on that. And then, again, going back to that schedule, how many years you have to schedule this stuff out. Well, UCF is playing Stanford, as you told me, I think last week. UCF's playing Stanford. Well, hey, when UCF scheduled that, Stanford was probably a top 10 team. And now look at them. They're I think they were 25 last week. It's hard to schedule somebody and know who's going to be in the top 10 3 or 4 years from now. And you have to hit them because of the conference schedules. You have to hit them in the first 3 to 4 weeks. I think something we talked about, and I'm gonna bring up some Bovada lines that really illustrate this point in just a couple seconds. But one of the things I think we talked about was about how NCAA basketball, the men's basketball, they always start with this tournament where a Gonzaga and a Duke and maybe Michigan State, they pull teams in from all conferences, and they'll have an 8-team playoff or something just to start the year. And and it's less. I think it's less of an issue with men's basketball because you can lose a couple games and still make the tournament, right? But the NCAA, I think, if they're really going to take the position here that the non-Power 5 schools are on equal footing in terms of getting to the playoff and all that, which again is complete BS. But if they're going to take that position, they really need to go to the conferences and say, hey, look, you guys need to play a non-Power 5 school. Now, there should be parameters around here because I know there's a financial aspect. I know there's travel. But if they're really making that, they should start to mandate it, because I remember late last season, the SEC commissioner basically came out and said, when all the UCF stuff was out there, just saying, well, boo-hoo, it's their fault for not scheduling anybody hard. Well, do you see any SEC teams playing any of these Atlantic Conference teams early in the season? Look, if I'm Alabama, if I'm Nick Saban, if I'm Clemson, Debo Sam, what is he? Debo Sam? I forgot his last name.
Debo Sweeney.
Sweeney, there you go.
Dabo Sweeney.
Dabo.
Yep.
Tito Jackson. If I'm one of these guys, why am I going to schedule Cincinnati or Memphis or UCF? I'm not going to do that because I want to tune up because I have a brutal conference schedule.
Right.
We all know what's going on here, so why not just call a spade a spade? I just hate the dishonesty of it. It really drives me crazy. Man. And I am a UCF alum, so I'll say that. But again, I'm not one of these guys that was banging the drum. Unlike a lot of people I know, I wasn't banging the drum that they should be in the playoff. I'm just saying, Hey, the NCAA coming out here saying one thing and doing another thing. Enough is enough. But let me go through. Like I mentioned before, I have some Bovada lines to illustrate my point. So first of all, let me just say that Clemson and Alabama are the co-favorites. Clemson is plus 225, which is basically 2.25 to 1. Alabama's at plus 260. So, those are your odds-on favorites to win the championship, and for good reason. But here's exactly what illustrates my point, okay? UCF, that hasn't lost a regular season in 2 years. They lost in the playoff to LSU, not the playoffs, I'm sorry, the bowl game last year to LSU after Mackenzie Milton, their starting quarterback, was injured, and I think they still put up 37. I think they lost like 37 to 45 or something like that. So everybody conveniently forgets that UCF, with their backup quarterback, put up 37 on LSU, but everybody's talking about how LSU didn't have a defensive back in that game. Okay. You don't think a quarterback's important to that offense? Give me a break. But anyway, so UCF is 250 to 1. They're at plus, I think, 25,000. So they're 250 to 1 basically to win the National Football Championship. And I think for good reason, because they're not going to get into the playoff, right? But an undefeated UCF team has no chance. Here's what illustrates my point. Kentucky, Sam, better odds to win the national title than UCF this year. Kentucky.
Well, yeah, they're in the SEC.
Exactly. Right. Kentucky. Right. So what they're saying is, and the reality, again, with this situation is if Kentucky can have a 3-loss maybe one good win. Let's just say theoretically they knock off like Georgia or somebody like that. Actually, I think they're in the. I don't know if they play Georgia. They play like UF though. Like if they knock off UF, have like a really good win and then a couple of tough losses, and maybe win the conference title right with 2 or 3 losses, they're going to get in the playoffs before an undefeated UCF or Cincinnati or Memphis or whatever. And again, I have no problem with that. But just call a spade a spade. So NCAA, you suck. You suck.
You suck so bad.
You suck so
Be
so
consistent,
bad.
Man. Be consistent.
Yeah. So that is it for the YouTube clip. Like I said, subscribe, like our video, look at the playlists, all that stuff. It's Underdog TV. Signing out.